Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for watching this presentation. My name is Amelia Manning, and I am the Career and College Admission Specialist at Maine West High School. This presentation contains information for parents and guardians of potential future first-generation college students. So students whose parents or guardians did not graduate from a four-year college or university in the United States. This should be especially helpful for parents of juniors and seniors. We'll start with a brief definition of college because when I say college, I mean several different things, and you will hear this quite commonly. The first is that a college can be either a two-year college or a four-year college. A two-year college is a community college like Oakton, where students earn what is called an associate's degree. Some students may be able to then, when they're done with their associate's degree, start their career. Careers like a sonographer or a dental hygienist, you need that associate's degree and then you can get started. But it all depends on what a student's career goal is. Sometimes students may start at a community college and then transfer to a four-year college, or they may start at that four-year college right away. And at a four-year college, students study for about 4 years before earning their bachelor's degree. After they earn their bachelor's degree, then they can start their career, or sometimes they move on to even more education because that is what their career requires. So something like a master's degree or a doctoral degree, like a physician or a researcher. Now, as you can see, there are many different options: the two-year college, and then transferring to a four-year college, which is called a 2+2, or a four-year college or university for students to be able to go to college. And what's really important to remember is that in the United States, we use the word college and the word university fairly often to mean the same thing. They can be somewhat interchangeable. Usually the biggest difference has to do with the size of the school. Colleges typically tend to be a little bit smaller, whereas universities are a little bit larger. And then also whether the school conducts research on a large scale. That is something that typically happens at a university. So then when I say a first generation college student, like I did at the very beginning, what do I mean by that? A first generation college student is a student whose parents did not graduate from a four-year college or university in the United States. And what you'll see here are that there are three phrases underlined. The first is did not graduate. If a parent took a few classes at a college and then did not end up graduating, their child would still be considered a first generation college student because they did not graduate from that four-year school. The next, as I just said, is four-year college. So if the parent went to a community college, their child would still be considered a first generation college student, so long as they haven't graduated from a four-year college. And then finally, United States. If you attended university in another country, your child would still be considered a first generation college student in the United States. And it's very important, you'll see the statistic here, to remember that you and your child are by no means alone in this process. About 54% of our students at Maine West just this year meet the qualifications to be considered a first generation college student if they choose to go to college in the future. And as you can see from the photos here, just some of our many staff members who are also first generation college students. Now, before we get too much further into talking about college, I do want to talk about one myth which is shown just on the right side of this slide here. And that is that in order to make it in today's world, you must have a college degree, or your child must have a college degree. And that is not true. There are many, many good jobs that are available when you choose to go through a certificate or an apprenticeship program to get some more training, where really your child is either taking and then paying for less classes, or in the case of an apprenticeship, they're able to have their employer pay for their training for them. So this is why it is very important and why we consistently emphasize that you talk with your child about their career goals before making decisions about where they should go after high school. There are some really exciting opportunities available through those certificate programs and apprenticeships. So please feel free to contact Kayla Hansen at Maine West if you are interested in exploring these any further. So you may have heard from other parents, or you may have gotten information from the school about how junior year is a very important year for your child. And if your child is currently a junior, there are really 3 bigger steps that I would encourage you to take as a parent, and that are also supported throughout the school year with information and guidance that's given to your children. First is to encourage your child to really make high school count. And when I say this, I mean a number of different things, as you can see. I mean to encourage them to seek out meaningful career experiences, which they may be getting in their classes, through their activities, and especially through the different opportunities and job shadows that the CCRC has to offer. This allows them to really explore careers, try out different careers, and see what they like, what they don't like, before they get to college and start paying for classes where they start learning these things. And then the next step is for them to take challenging classes and really do their best in them. It is important for students to learn to be challenged. And when it comes to colleges evaluating applications, they would rather see that your student really applied themselves and took a challenging course and maybe struggled a little bit with their grades than, did very well in a course that maybe they could have pushed themselves a little bit further into that next level for. Now, next, in terms of really making the most of that high school experience would be encouraging your child to be involved with extracurricular activities, both exploring their interests and then hopefully having a little bit of fun at the same time. This is very important when it comes to college applications. So even in a setting where activities are not able to meet as often as they normally would, or in the same ways that they normally would, still seek those out. And also encourage your child to have relationships with their teachers. Again, especially if your student has mostly been learning through a virtual setting, teachers, not only are they a great support for your child, but they often provide recommendation letters for colleges. So in an environment where we may not be seeing each other quite as often, turning on your camera in class, participating in class, attending office hours, those are all really good ways to help your teacher get to know your child, and therefore for your child to be able to ask that teacher for a recommendation later. Now, the next step here in the next column is to help your child focus their career goal or goals. Help them really reflect on the experiences that they have, like I said before, what they like, what they dislike, what they maybe have questions about and still need to learn more about. Encourage them to explore the careers that they are interested in even further then by doing research or seeking out even more experiences. We have so many to offer, so please reach out and ask if you haven't been able to find them yet. This is all very important as your child's individualized career plan continues to grow each year throughout high school, really with senior year being that pinnacle. And it's something that they will be working on with their counselor. And if they come to meet with Ms. Hansen or me in the Career and College Resource Center, that we all take a look at together. Now, the final step that I recommend for junior year is to help your child explore college fit. Fit is a word that we use quite often to talk about colleges, and fit really applies to 3 different things. The first is how well a college fits your child academically. So does it offer the academic path to help your child meet their future career goals? But also, does it offer the appropriate level of challenge for your student to continue to grow while also feeling comfortable in that space. We also talk about fit from a social perspective, so what's happening on the campus and how your child might fit in with other students there. And then, of course, we talk about fit from a financial perspective as well. So what your family is able to afford and really maximizing your opportunities for financial aid. So encourage your child junior year to do research about colleges. Research is a very common theme here, but more specifically with the programs that they are interested in at different schools, and to really explore a college using those three lenses: academic, social, and financial that I mentioned before. If you are able to do a campus visit in person, and this would be an official campus visit where you set it up with the Office of Admissions, it's not the same as stopping by the campus and just walking around. This would be with a tour guide. Try to do this in the spring, maybe spring break, or over the summer after junior year. Now, not all campuses are offering this in person right now, and that's okay because there are many virtual options available online. In some cases, the offerings are just as good, if not better, than what you might get in person. And then help kind of guide your child along as they begin to reflect on their preferences about each school and each program, and then help them think critically about the return on investment of their options. You know, the most expensive school is not always the best school. Actually, it often is not. So there may be more cost-effective ways for your child to reach their future career goals. Please, I encourage you to really be open about finances and what your child should expect in terms of your family's contribution. The CCRC will be offering more presentations in the future and workshops specifically for students about return on investment and evaluating financial fit. But please, if you have questions in the meantime, do reach out if you would like some more information. So then senior year, which is often the busiest year for preparing your child to go to college, steps that you can take as a parent: first of all, encourage your child to seek help. There are many, many people here at Maine West to support your child throughout this process. So encourage them to attend meetings, or even to request meetings with their counselor or with me in the CCRC or Ms. Hanson in the CCRC. And then also to attend the different workshops and seminars that the CCRC offers throughout the year to help students prepare their applications, make decisions, and beyond. The next is to empower your child to apply to colleges by giving them a balance of both space and support. So it's important, for instance, not to fill out your child's applications for them or to do all of their college research for them, because this is a very good time for students to learn how to do these types of tasks for themselves. They're really beginning that transition from childhood to young adulthood, and this process of applying to colleges and starting that college decision-making process is a really important part of it and good practice for the real world. But of course, it does need to be balanced with support and encouragement from you, because it can certainly be very challenging and stressful for students because they've never done this before. So as a parent or guardian, please keep that delicate balance in mind, and just know that your child will also definitely need your help with completing the FAFSA, or the alternative application for Illinois financial aid, because those forms will require your personal information. You'll see a timeline on the next slide here with when that typically comes about in a year or two. Now, of course, another step senior year is to celebrate the progress that your child makes along the way. So each step forward in that application process, each submission, is just as important as celebrating acceptances and scholarships. And finally, make sure that you are discussing decisions with your child, listening first and asking those probing questions so that they get practice with making these kinds of decisions. Talk with them about both pros and cons of their options. And again, make sure that finances and return on investment are part of the conversation as well. So this timeline, as I had mentioned on the previous slide, really helps to give you an idea of the major milestones to expect senior year. If you're looking for a more detailed checklist format, there is one available through the CCRC Google Classroom that your child has access to. If you do not have access, if your child does not have access, please have them contact me and I am happy to add them. So in November and December, sometimes in January, is when many college applications are due. November 1 is usually a very big date for students applying to colleges early. And I will say that there are many advantages to applying early to colleges, including the potential for more scholarships. I also suggest submitting the FAFSA or the alternative application for Illinois financial aid by Halloween to ensure that you are eligible for the most financial aid possible. And then during this time, your child will also want to be searching for scholarships. Though if you have to prioritize applying to colleges and searching for scholarships, it's important to remember that often if you get your college applications in earlier, you're considered for more scholarships like I mentioned before. So then January through March is when many college decisions are actually released and when many financial aid offers are also released. And it's important to make sure that you receive a full financial aid offer, including a breakdown of costs, as well as different types of aid before you accept admission at a college. So when you get an acceptance letter, sometimes it does not include that full offer and it just says, oh, you're eligible for this scholarship. Make sure it has all of those details in it before you accept. You will also want to check to see if any of your information on the FAFSA or the alternative app needs to be verified. This is required and very, very common. And at this point then, your child will also want to really begin to intensify their search for scholarships. This is when we see the most scholarship applications opening up for students to apply. Most of them are due along the year, but typically by April, if not March. And then finally, this is a good opportunity as applications get done and you start hearing back from schools to maybe visit some college campuses if you're considering them, so that you can get a better sense of where your child might end up in the fall. If you haven't had the opportunity to do this already, this is a really good chance to do it now, because 4 years or even 2 years can really be a big commitment. And then finally, kind of the date to keep in mind as we march forward into the school year, May 1st is a big day as well. So college signing day. That is when students are typically expected to have made decisions about which college they are planning to attend and have actually started to make deposits, if not even earlier than that. And I should clarify, those deposits that are earlier may not be a full deposit, it may just be a housing deposit. So if you are the parent or guardian of a senior right now, you are probably, trying to anticipate what next year will be like for you. Sending your child to college is a big transition, and it really requires both the parent or the guardian and the child to adapt along the way. So of course, it is very important to stay connected. Find ways, with your child, even if it's a little way, to stay involved in each other's lives. If your child is going away to college, you can communicate via the mail. Sometimes students will send cards home or parents will send them to students. Many parents send their children a care package or a box of treats during exam times. And keep in touch with emails, texts, phone calls, however your family typically keeps in touch. And at the same time, so while you are keeping connected, try to allow for more space with your child as they're trying to navigate the transition as well. So when you drop them off, wait a little while before initiating contact and making that phone call so that they have some time to explore and to acclimate to their new environment. You may find, that your relationship changes, but your child will always need you. It just may look a little different now that they are in college. You will find the right balance over time, but expecting ups and downs along the way will really help you with that transition, knowing that it's going to take time for you both to become more comfortable and confident. And of course, just as you have throughout their childhood, be sure to allow for mistakes by both you and your child. Learning mistakes is very important to your child's growth. Again, this launch into young adulthood, and hearing the message that mistakes are okay will really help your child to accept that. So you should know that there are many resources available to you and your child, both when they are in high school at Maine West, and then again when they are in college. So at Maine West, your student can always reach out to their counselor for help, as well as the Career and College Resource Center, or CCRC, with Kayla Hansen and me also available to help you. The CCRC also has a website within the Maine West website that you would have access to, and then a Google Classroom that is specifically for students. Both places include many different resources that may be helpful to you as it relates to both career exploration and then planning for after high school. We also share out a monthly newsletter with families of juniors and seniors that includes important updates, again, about career exploration as well as post-high school planning. And then at colleges, your child can get support in a variety of ways too. And I would encourage you to encourage your child to use these resources, because after all, you are paying for them in your tuition and fees. So technically it's not free, but you've already paid for it, so you might as well use it. Many colleges will have different academic supports available to you. You know, all professors have office hours, and I would encourage your first gen student especially to attend these office hours so that they get to know their professors and they can ask questions that they have. Many schools also have tutoring facilities that, again, students don't need to pay additional money for. They've already paid for it. So might as well take advantage of that extra boost that you can get with a little bit more tutoring. Colleges also offer career centers, such as the one that we have here at Maine West. So be sure to check those out and all the career services that colleges have to offer, in addition to services related to health and well-being. So a health center for when your child gets sick, or a counseling center where your child can go if they need some more social emotional support. Again, already paid for with your tuition and fees. And then last but not least, many colleges offer programs specifically for first generation college students and or other underrepresented groups on campus. So these can include things like summer bridge programs where students are invited to come to campus early or move into campus early so that they can learn more about the college. Sometimes they have the opportunity to take classes early over the summer. It could also include opportunities to live with other first generation students, or even to have a mentor at the school. So every school is a little bit different, but it's a question that I recommend asking and researching as you go along this journey. And last but not least, there are some important dates for our families to remember for next semester. So for our junior families, please save the date for February 11th, our junior post-high school options night, where we will really provide an overview of the options available to students after high school and the steps that families can take to prepare for those steps. Then March 4th will be our financial aid night, where there'll be an overview about financial aid for college that many families have found to be very helpful in the past as they begin to prepare for the fall. And then don't forget that April 13th is the in-school SAT, another important date for our juniors. For our senior families, you've had many dates pass already, but don't forget to keep checking dates for your college application deadlines. And if you haven't submitted your FAFSA or alternative app yet, it's not too late. Please make sure you do so as soon as possible. But March 4th is our financial aid night. In addition to that general overview session that's better suited for families of juniors, We will have a special session for seniors that's all about how to read your financial aid offer and how to compare financial aid offers. So highly recommend attending that. And then May 1st, as I mentioned before, very big day because that is the universal deadline to respond to colleges with your plans for the fall. So I know that this process can be overwhelming for both you and your child. So please, any point, please feel free to contact me, make an appointment with me, send me an email if there are any questions about this presentation or even later on in the future. It's my pleasure to help you and your family. So thank you very much.